The whole time.
Oh, that's what I'm doing right now. It's rolling now.
Alright, so we're actually gonna get in position and do the shot now?
Yes! Take your mask off.
Yeah!
Scene 1A?
Scene 1B.
B.
What do you mean, B?
Cry Wolf, scene 1B, and action.
Hey guys, Timmy91 here, and welcome to the behind-the-scenes video for Those Who Cry Wolf. For those of you who are watching this having no idea what I'm talking about, please follow the link in the description below to go and watch the Those Who Cry Wolf film before you watch this. Don't worry, it's not going to take you a whole long. It's only a little bit under 5 minutes. But yeah, so this is just a way for me in order to say hello to all of you and to showcase the work behind the film, because that's one of the things that we knew that we had to do going into this, and I'll explain a little bit about what the hell is going on. So, Those Who Cry Wolf is a submission for the Nightmind Candy Bowl of 2020. Now, what the heck is the Candy Bowl? Well, essentially, it is a collection of short films that are all pieced together into one long video, usually. And when it comes down to that, it comes down to personal choice and getting entered into it. This year it's a little bit different, as it's actually going to be put into a YouTube playlist, so anyone who wants to take the time in order to watch any of the short films or any of the behind-the-scenes content behind those short films can go ahead and watch the playlist and potentially find some new content creators and stuff for all of that. And of course, it is my intent in order to submit this to Nick Nocturne for all of that with his channel. So thank you, Nick, for putting this on once again, and I'm definitely happy in order to have participated this year as well. Of course, as you know, I'm a massive fan and I enjoy doing this stuff, but of course, even if I wasn't a fan, I probably would have made this film anyway at some point, because I've had the concept in my head racking around for a long while. Back when I actually used to work as a clown during a scare maze, I came up with an idea. I was like, well, what if I made like a clown weird wolf hybrid with like a cut open mouth on the side, stitches together, look all freaky. And that was essentially the initial concept of this, and then it evolved during the process when I was doing the makeup into being this weird, ethereal wolf, weird human hybrid werewolf monster creature. And of course, so when Nick said that this year's theme for the Candy Bowl was going to be Monster Lab, I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. This is a monster I've had in my head for a while, and this is something that I want to do, so here's an opportunity in order to do it. Granted, it's 2020. We all know how this year has been going, so it's a little bit tricky in order to get some of these shots, and there were some ideas that I had in my head that I just knew weren't going to be possible. A couple of indoor stuff on public places we knew we weren't going to be able in order to do, just because, well, we can't do them right now. But that ended up working in our favor, though, even if the film is a little bit short. And unfortunately, one of the actors who we wanted to participate in this as well wasn't able in order to make it, so we had to limit our number of kills, which also shortened the time. But I am still very happy with the final result that we ended up getting, and of course I am looking forward to seeing everyone's responses to both the film and to this video. Anyways, the formatting on this is going to be a little bit interesting, because there are some stuff that I shot before we actually did any of the primary filming, and then there was stuff that we shot during the filming as well. And a little bit of behind the scenes as well with my buddy RCT3 is Epic, aka Close to the Sun, who once again was very kind enough in order to provide the music for this. So what I'm going to do now is essentially I'm going to be doing this a little bit like, what would be a good example I can think of, like the Walt Disney Magic Hour or something like that, where I'm going to introduce a segment, and then from there, segment will play out, I'll introduce the next segment, and then we'll go from there. So this first segment is the behind the scenes of the monster and weapon creation, and this was a process that took me around about 2 hours, and I got footage for the entire thing. However, I made sure in order to cut it down for your convenience. It comes with a lot of information about how I'm going about with the actual build and design, as well as some of the materials that I bought and how much you can expect in order to be spending overall for the actual project. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to me, and let's go on to that first segment. Hey guys, Team1 here, and a little bit of a different video. Believe you me, this is not what I was expecting in order to do next. Especially because this guy, well, it's a little bit of his fault. So allow me in order to explain. What you're watching right now is a video that I am recording weeks before I actually take the time in order to record the movie project that is going to be involving all of the stuff I have laid out over here on the table. So it's essentially going to be a little bit of a maker video, I guess. It's something vastly different, but either way though, it should at least be an interesting project, and I'll be going through some of my different methodology and some of the things that I am putting together here as I go through. So yeah, anyways, welcome to, I guess, the behind the scenes video for a movie project that currently doesn't have a name. What I do know is that it involves this wolf here. And it's for the Nick Nocturne's Candy Bowl on the channel Nightmind. And I actually did this last year with the film Lost. Now, this is not connected to the Lost project. It can't be for multiple reasons. And of course, it's also not connected to my ARG, Last Impact, either. Obviously, this video isn't in character for Last Impact either. That is way more scripted and heavily done with all kinds of different production value. This is me, no script whatsoever, saying whatever comes to the top of my head, trying to figure it out, so excuse my awkward self. Part of this thing, of course, it's called a Monster Lab for this year, and part of it is that you have to show the magic of monsters. And for me, the magic is a little bit of that behind the scenes, what's the magic that you do in order to put in to the monster that you actually have. So, with me, a good monster is an animalistic one, as you can probably guess, so we're using a wolf head. Now, this may look familiar to some people who've been on my channel for many years. It looks very similar to the head that I use for Shepard, the character Shepard von Wolfsang on my channel, who I haven't really used in a long time. But essentially, though, this is not the Shep head. This is a copy of it, and it's not exactly the same. The fur pattern's a little bit different, because if anybody who knows about fur patterns and building fursuit heads, it takes... it's really hard in order to get matching fur from one set to another set, because they're very difficult in order to do. The construction on this guy is also a little bit different. His head shape is slightly done, and this one also seems in order to be of a lower quality than the one done by Elope, which makes me think I might have accidentally got a Chinese ripoff. But that's okay, though, because I'm going to be destroying this guy and deconstructing him in certain ways, or at least trying in order to cause additions. Which reminds me, apparently, I forgot to grab the ribbon, so I'll be right back. Okay, got the ribbon that I forgot. So, everything that I'm using today, I'm going to try to do my best in order to explain. Sorry about that. I'm going to do my best in order to explain where I got all this stuff and what exactly I'm doing. The head's going to be the most complicated of things in order to do today, so I'm going to try to do my best in order to do everything as I can, as quick as I can. Essentially, there are two different elements that I'm going to be modifying today, and then from there, I have a full-on costume, and we'll get behind the scenes the actual suit up when we're on the quote-unquote set for this film. So, starting off, we're going to be modifying this machete. Now, I know it looks exceptionally ridiculous, and that's kind of the point. It's a full machete. You can pick these up over at Spirit Halloween. This is the one I have, or one of the two at least, I had from last year. So that's one of the reasons why you can see a lot of this kind of weird fluorescent paint that was done on it. That was an own custom job. It was done for a clown house. But yeah, we need in order to modify this so it doesn't look super ridiculous on camera. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using some of this stuff. Now, this is aluminum tape. You can find it down over at any hardware store, basically. In my case, I picked it up at Home Depot about a year ago. And this is actually a trick I learned from Adam Savage over on Test It. Yes, that Adam Savage, the guy, the Mythbuster himself. But essentially, the idea with this is that we're going to be taking this and we are going to spread it across on top. And from there, we'll be able to get a nice looking shiny blade. And so I'm going to do my best in order to do some blending with it, of course, and trying in order to get to look in the way that I want. Excuse any background noise you might be hearing because windows are open and there's just a lot of things going on outside, but there's not much else I can do. So, without further ado, we're going to try to see if I can do this stuff. Some justice, at least. So one of the great things about this tape is, you'll see pretty quickly, is that it sticks on rather easily. And as you can see, we're already getting a little bit of that shine. And if blended correctly, it looks very much like actual metal. Which is something that we are trying in order to do and trying to get a look. You'll notice I have a paintbrush here. And essentially what I'm doing with this paintbrush is that I am pushing out the air bubbles to the best of my ability as I move it out. And again, this is just more tricks that I picked up from Adam and his build series. When he did this, he did it on one-day builds with wood. And obviously, I don't have a wood machete, so it's not exactly going to look good. But hopefully with what I'm doing here, we'll be able in order to get this a little bit more presentable. Trying my best in order to keep it as perpendicular as I can to the blade. That way I'm not wasting any material. And of course you do have to be careful when you're doing this because it is aluminum tape. So as one might be able to guess by the name, it is very, very fragile. Now that bit's very sharp there, so I'm going to try rounding that out a little bit. That way it doesn't have the potential to hurt anyone. And again, it's mostly we do this in order to work out the air bubbles. Because you will be getting them a lot as you do this. And obviously there's going to be a little bit of crime hiding that you have to do throughout as well. But when this gets weathered and painted over, when I get around to doing that later on when I actually have the materials for it, that's going to look a lot better. Okay then, right, so as you can see already, we're kind of getting this nice shine already to it. And obviously there's going to be some crease lines and other stuff, but when you're far away and when you get the light reflecting off of it, you don't really have too much of an issue. But I'll just pull this up close to the camera really quick. And if you look down along it, you can see all of the different bubbles and lines and some of the different texture that's coming through from the foam. Obviously we also have a crease that's right about here on my finger, and you can barely pick it up on camera, but the further away you get, the more uniform it looks and gives you this nice blade-like shine. So then we're going to be covering the rest of this down here on the actual edge and up on the tip, and then we got to do something about this handle as well in order to make it look not as corny. And the way I'm going to be doing that is essentially I'm going to be wrapping tape down around the handle and creating a sort of a tape-like handle and a taper down on the bottom. But either way, though, you'll see all of that on camera when I do it. So, but that will be done using duct tape. So, yeah, let's go ahead and continue with the application, and then we'll get a little bit more of a look at it. So it is occurring to me as I'm doing this that I have yet in order to bring up the price of this stuff, which I know I should be doing. As we're going through this, and to which case, the blade, again, as I mentioned before, I picked it up at Spirit Halloween. It's not really too expensive, if memory serves me correctly. It's around about $24 in order to pick this up, maybe cheaper. I do know that the least expensive thing though was the aluminum tape, because that was around $15, and that of course was located where I specifically bought it was over at Home Depot. But I know they also carry it in Lowe's and Ace Hardware if you ask around. So you might be able to get them for a little bit cheaper depending on where you pick it up. What I do know though is that you can only pick it up in hardware stores. I've yet in order to find any online providers for that. So, especially in today's day and age with how we're dealing with COVID-19 and all of that, I would definitely say be careful where you buy and when you buy it. That helps to dull the sharpness. Okay, so this side's almost complete actually. And this side needs a little bit more work, mostly up over here. But either way though, it is starting to near completion, and I'm very happy that it is doing that. And you might be noticing that I am using scissors in order to do this. And normally you would want to use an X-Acto knife and have some measurements. I don't have any of that stuff, so I am having to do this all in kind of blind faith, honestly, that it is going to work. And again, it's a very slow process. You want to be very methodical about it as you apply it. Okay. And just like that, we now have a shiny aluminum machete. Getting nice reflections in the sun. It gives it a very nice metallic look. Be able to more to slash people with that, and feel nice and heavy. Got a good weight to it, even though it's made of foam. And if you end up bonking somebody with it, the likelihood of them getting hurt isn't really all too high. And of course, when I do some of the makeup on this, I'll be able in order to dirty it, and that will hide some of my crimes. And then after it's dirtied, I can get some blood on it. And with the blood, it'll give it this nice, dried, caked-on appearance. So, but that's all going to be done off camera. Now the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using this duct tape in order to help out with making this back end not look so ridiculous. So, we're going to do that a little bit as well. So as you can see, what I'm doing is way more coarse and rough comparatively to the elegancy over here. And that'll give it a nice hardened grip. Okay, and just like that, we have one machete. Duct tape gives us a nice grayish handle, and I can't really see it on the camera from here, but maybe in the recording we'll be able to see. And it's just kind of form played. And then, of course, at a distance you can't really see any of the marks on here, but again, if I bring it up close onto the camera, you can definitely see a lot of the different types of marks that are on here and how it was kind of pieced together. But even at this distance I have it right now, you can just barely see any of the lines comparatively to the handle, which is just completely duct taped up. But it does give a nice contrast. It definitely gives a feeling of the idea of a machete. And of course, once I get this thing all dirtied up and covered in blood, it's going to hide a lot of crimes and should look nice and sinister on camera when we actually get to shoot it. So yeah, there's the blade. Up next is, of course, the mask. Okay, so one of the things I noticed right from the get-go with this mask is that the teeth on the inside are loose. While there is glue on them, it's not actually glued into plastic. It's connected only really to the fur that's stuck on the inside of the mouth. So I'm going to take a little bit of duct tape and we're going to fix those teeth really quick. Alright, and just like that, the teeth are now way more stable inside there. Which is weird because the bottom teeth are just fine. So now, we need to mess with this a little bit without making sure that I get the stitching on this guy undone. So the main idea that I have here that I'm going to be doing with this guy is we're going to be taking these ribbons and we're going to be sewing them along his mouth. But the only way in order to do that, because the muzzle is constructed out of very hard plastic, is to cut open the side of his face. So we're going to do that now. We're going to do our best in order to do so while we don't accidentally get rid of any of the actual bindings of fur in there. So it should be very interesting cutting. And just like that, we've created this sort of artificial gash in his face. Now then, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to kind of chop up and shave the fur around here. That way it gives us a bit of a shorter hair look. It should look a lot more cleanly refined, as well as a little bit more spooky. Already I'm cramping up my hand. And then as for this mask, it's worth around about $50 on Amazon was where I got it from. But again, I think this might be a Chinese knockoff. I paid $50 for it, and I also paid around $50 the first time for the actual one, which is the chef one that I have already. So hopefully we don't discover anything too bad while I do this. Like nothing that's at least disguisable. Okay, so then obviously we have the ribbon here as well. This is about a $10 ribbon. And the idea that we have here with this guy is that we're going to be taking the ribbon and we're going to be kind of lassoing it through this gash here. And then while the mask is being worn, there's going to be a full-on balaclava that's going to help him look the way that he does. You also notice I have a comb here. That's in order to help kind of get this fur out of his eyes, because shipped in the bag, it's a little bit hard in order to get the eyes out, so I'm going to do a little bit about that right now.
And a comb I know is not the best, but again, this is a cheap mask. I don't entirely care. If this was an actual fursuit head, yeah, I'd be wearing. I would be using a comb for all of the fur treatment. But for this, a comb works just fine instead of a brush. But yeah, so I'm gonna see about trying in order to get through some of this plastic, and yeah, from there we'll hopefully be able in order to sew together bits and pieces of the mouth. Oh no, I don't want to do anything to the mechanism. Luckily for me, the mech is attached to the upper part of the head here, where there's plastic, so I'm going to try in order to stab through this. Okay then. Pocket blade has a bit of a sharper tip to it, so we're going to give this a shot instead. Now that I have that hole in there, I should be able to take some of this ribbon. Cut it like so. And I should be able to work it in there. Alright, so for those wondering what I'm doing on the inside here, essentially I am doing a double tie knot. So I tie it and then I tie around that knot again in order to get some nice rigidity. And then pull on the ribbon. And then it kind of gives this look here. And that might be a little bit hard in order to see at this distance, but when I get done bringing in the ribbons, I'll give it a final showcase of what it looks like. Okay, so we're looking forward to apply here on the back part of the jaw. So yeah, and again, what I'm doing right now is I'm just creating enough slack for there to be plenty of clearance on the inside here, and I'm doing my best in order to wrap around to double up on top of that knot. Of course, if you don't always land it exact, try moving it around before you tighten it. That way you can get that nice and thick. Take it out over here, give yourself enough slack on the bottom, and that gives it that nice and stretchy look. So here I got a V, and then I'm going to be creating an X on this side over here, and that'll be a fun Roman numeral reference to, of course, 15, which is a fun internal reference to another writing project that I have that's not entirely public yet, but hey. Either way though, may never be, just because of the nature of it, but hey. Fun little reference to numbers and such. And great amount of things for people in order to theorize about. And there we go. So that gives us our little stitch pattern. So we'll bring them up for a closer look. A nice dirty fur pattern. As you can see, it's a little bit more full over here, a little bit more lush. Teeth have been fixed, so they're no longer as wobbly. And on this side, we now have the 15. So the X and the 5. Using a nice look. For our design. Either way though, so that's the primary part for the monster head. Now what I need to do is in order to use, oops, sorry Nick, this makeup kit. Now this is something I bought off of Amazon, however I know for a fact you can also get it at Spirit Halloween, if you're able to find one that's open anyway. And of course, this is normally designed in order for use for clowns,
we're going to just mostly be using it for this black makeup spot here, as well as the blood that it takes up part of. So we'll be using the blood around on that mouth bit that we've just done, as well as a bit over here on the other side and on the teeth. And we'll be using the black around the eyes and kind of dyeing the fur, essentially, in order to give it a little bit more of a freaky look. So we're going to try doing that now. Yeah, so already you can kind of see a difference in his eye comparatively to this side. And as you can see, that makes it look much darker and far freakier. So, and looks like the camera's about to die. Yay! Sorry about that, guys. Camera died on me. Hey, luckily I was right in front of it, so one quick battery change and quick cleanup of the SD card by getting all of my files off and getting it back on, and now we're able to get back to work on this guy. So I'm just doing a little bit more touch up right over here on the inside of the eye, trying my best in order to cover up a lot of that white that's in there for help with the overall dark aesthetic. Either way, though, I think we can all agree, though, that this side is already looking pretty freaky, and it should pop up very nicely on camera. And we, of course, also have to take care of it on the other side as well. So let's get a little bit up here on the bridge of the nose. Dirty that up a wee bit. Bless me. I'm actually going to try to use a brush more in line with these really quick. So give me a second. Something with a bit more spread to it. Like this. Hopefully that will speed up my process that I am trying to do here. So let's see if we can speed this up. Obviously this stuff is all going to get washed later. This should help with, caking it on. And of course I can go back and add and remove detail at any time, which is a very nice thing to be able to do. And I'll be doing that with that tiny one there for now. I'm going to get this basic caking in. Alrighty. So with that, we now have the eyes done. As you can see, they're very dark, very gothic. I've even added a little bit of dirt around on the muzzle, and that's going to give it some very fun amount of stuff. So up next, obviously, we need to add a little bit of red, as then we need to add some of the blood here into the wound, and then we also need to add a couple of other stuff in order to make it look the way that I envision it. But either way, though, he is coming along, and that's what's important.
This is going to take a little bit in order to wash up. Give me one sec. Okay then. Alright. Now we take something that's a little bit more spread out like so. And we're just going to kind of flick and paint. Take that little bit that I put there. Just kind of paint it a little bit. Like so. Okay, and just like that, I think we have our monster's design done. I do not feel comfortable picking him up right now, though, because that blood is very sticky. So, I'm going to carry the camera over so we can actually take a better look at this guy. So, from up above, this is my view that I'm getting over here. My word, does he look wonderful, nice, grimy, juicy. And again, this is all really, really cheap stuff, but when combined together, it creates really, really fabulous looking wolf and a very spectacular looking product. So, with all of that there, I think the only thing I have left in order to do is some of that weathering that I discussed with the machete. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause. I'm going to clean up myself a bit. I'm going to get this guy in a place where he can dry, and from there, we'll be able, in order to get a nice, full-on look and clean of the workstation. So, let's go ahead and do that really fast. Okay, so then, now that we have the whole makeup kit open and such, I think we can take the time in order to do a little bit of weathering on this guy as well. Mostly all I'm going to be doing is a lot of the same that I was doing before, where we're going to be applying some black to it. We're going to be then going to be brushing that, a lot of it away. That way we can get sort of this very finished look. We'll do one side, then the other, and I'll find a place in order to store it so it can actually dry properly. And then, of course, apply blood on top of it as well. So, hopefully this all goes well and we don't end up with anything weird. So the only thing I'm doing right now is I'm just essentially adding black on top. I'm scraping it across the top. Getting coarse lines of grime and dirt. And then, when I have it at a place where I like it, I'll take a bit of paper towel. And then we rub it. Rub it all down. And it gives this really nice blackened effect. Unfortunately, it also seems to be catching on all of my lines. Wasn't entirely my intention, but either way though. So here's the clean side, here's the dirty side. And again, this is just a really quick weathering technique. Something in order to enhance it. You don't really have to do it if you don't want to. Me, I kind of want to. But I'm just going to take the dirty one and apply it on the other side as well. And I'll get that little bit of dirty dysenterian color because it just stuck on there. Cool. So now we can toss that and then take a little bit of our blood splatter from the floor. apply the gel to the top. Take a red brush that we were using before and just start spreading it out, getting that nice red color with mixtures. Black, it's a very juicy red. And then what we want to do is we want to make it look like, well, yeah, while it has blood on it, the blood's not fresh. It needs to look washed. So again, you take more and you kind of dab to remove it. You dab to remove. You specifically dab, not swipe, and that helps give it this very dried-like texture. Across the top of those. Just like that. And from what I can see, it looks like that it's going to be kind of like this and a wee bit sticky for a little bit. So I'm going to have to come back in order to do the other side at another point, which I will probably do off camera after the coating is dry, and I might do a couple of other coats. Yeah, either way though, this has been the behind the scenes portion of the actual monster creation. I hope you definitely enjoyed that, and I should have hopefully some more behind the scenes that I'll be shooting as well, from when we're on the actual set, when we're discussing stuff and how I want things in order to go with the actual directorial part.
So, what'd you think? I mean, it's definitely a lot of interesting info, I believe, and again, as I mentioned, these are a lot of tips and tricks I picked up watching Adam Savage on Tested, and some of the information and knowledge that he's passed through on there as well. I honestly think it looks super great with what we were able to get on the film, even if the machete doesn't really pop up too much. But I did put a lot of work into that, as well as a lot of work into the mask. It is downright freaky, and it looks especially cool on camera from far away or up close. And of course, now we're going to go ahead and listen a little bit to my buddy, RCT3's Epic, as he explains a little bit about how he went about doing the music for the film.
Hi, I'm Close to the Sun. I did the music for Those Who Cry Wolf, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a walkthrough of a lot of that soundtrack. So here we are in Ableton here. As you can see, we've got our whole piece arranged here in a kind of a funny way. Since the film was shot in a couple of different days of certain spots, I was able to get the first part of this done, and then just recently get the second part done on the post-production. So, this part is over here, so I could sync it up easier afterwards, but this is the part that you hear at the start of the film, right over here, which it kind of starts with this same piano riff that I came up with, but truncated at first, and then brought into full form with other instruments to back the uncomfortable feeling. Since this project, the director wanted a Nightmare on Elm Street meets Twin Peaks vibe, and listening to those respective soundtracks, I mostly heard the themes of loneliness and uncomfortability. So for those, I tried to use the most musical terms and musical things that I know of to create those emotions. I started with this very ominous sounding piano riff. From there, I kind of worked a chord progression around it, and that chord progression there is heard in the start of the film. Now, the riff does kind of get abandoned in certain spots, like here, when our main people they leave the first scene and they go into the second location in the woods. This, all the way leading up until the first death, is where this segment is. And anytime the monster is in view, or specifically is from the point of view of the monster in this case, I have a little ticking sound here. That ticking sound is actually a reference to the Halloween score, since when you're listening to that beginning piano riff that everybody knows and loves from that film, they have a little ticking noise just right there in the background to sort of keep the unease feeling going on. So now, as we get over to the first time we see a body, I used a piano here, dark piano note, to really get that something's wrong here vibe. With the riff over top of it. Alright, so now we're going into the forest. Something's gone wrong. We see a dead body. To set that feeling and show, yes, this person is dead, we use a big, sharp piano, just big, sharp piano note right there. To really just set in the, okay, now it's time for unsettling more than anything else. Now, once our people leave that area, we then go into the forest. Again, we go deeper into the forest, where the music gets a little more intense. Using that piano note again. And now that one of them runs behind a tree, we have nothing but this high string and these drums, which are supposed to simulate a heartbeat, so it's trying to give building suspense. And the biggest suspense builder, we have a riser here. That riser is actually comprised of 2 different sound effects that are then layered on top of each other and pitched up in just an interval so that it sounds really unnerving, using a thing called a tritone. In music, tritones have been linked to the devil historically, to the point where in a lot of much older music, it was considered a forbidden chord. You couldn't use tritones. So now, that kind of gave them this connotation of, whenever you hear a tritone, it feels uncomfortable. For the history, and also the interval itself does have a lot of discordant vibes to it. As far as piecing this whole thing together, this whole section from here to here was actually all recorded in real time. So what I did was I plugged in my Launchpad once I had created all my clips here to control. I then would play each clip specifically in time with the film as I was watching it on my screen here. So stuff like when the musical cues come in, that was all based on a continuous metronome here, as well as just watching the film and seeing which clips would go where. After a few tries, I've gotten this specific arrangement, and I'm very happy with it. Alright, so that's a little bit of the insight into how the soundtracking process was. So, back to you, T-Man.
Thanks, buddy. I am super glad you were able in order to do that for us. Anyways, yeah, as you can tell, we had a lot of fun trying in order to do this movie. And, from that, that definitely ended up having a lot of shenanigans on set. Overall, footage-wise, all the footage gathered together is around about an hour and a half of footage that we ended up getting. Or something like that. Just from the amount of takes and long form that was going on from the actual thing. Might not actually be that long, I can't entirely remember. I do know I had one long segment that I pieced together, and it was just all oh wow, yeah, no, that's surprisingly amount. But we were out there for around about 7 hours, as in I left my house at 11 a.m., and I got back at 6 p.m. So there was a massive amount of time that we were out actually filming and talking and discussing our ideas, and me trying in order to convey my concept as well while I was out over there, because I forgot my sketchbook in order to showcase some of the scenes I wanted to get shot. That's a whole other debacle. But when it comes down to that, though, just because it's me and my friend group making this movie, there's a lot of shenanigans and a lot of us just chatting up with some weird, funny stuff. So, go ahead and take the time in order to look at that with our final segment of our on-set shenanigans, and I will see you guys in a little bit.
Okay, again though, I need to do Full-on change here, though.
Into your wolf.
Yeah, into the wolf.
Woohoo! Frickin' pan the camera over Taylor getting naked.
Well, I do need to put on a new shirt, though, and pants. But, I mean, like, come on. You honestly think a wolf is going to be wearing khakis? No, I brought
and
my
a
frickin'...
frickin' bacon shirt.
Bacon.
No, I frickin' brought my McDonald's.
Camera's rolling,
slacks.
right?
Yes, it is.
Still rolling.
Okay, that's good.
Frickin' getting some on-set action here. Shirtless director.
Dude, I
Let's
needed
go.
this to line up, dumbass.
Oh, dude, you moved it. You moved the camera. That might be a problem.
Yeah, but I know where it was.
I hope for your sake you're right, because I'm the one who has to line that up in post.
Should we just redo the
Everything's visible. Everything's still visible.
Dude,
It's where it was.
I swear, it fucking better be. Because if it's out of alignment while I'm doing the edit, that's gonna be a shit mask job and it's gonna look like fucking crap.
In that case, do you want to just redo the shot just in case? And don't move the camera next time?
Yeah, please don't. Please don't move the camera next time.
Yeah.
Loki, I should have just taken off the clip. I should have done that.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
then I could have just left it where it was.
Yes. Alright, let's
I'll
redo
say-
the shot.
Film bomb imminent. That's gotta make it the behind the scenes special. If it doesn't, then I'll be salty.
Yep.
It's not medieval, it's malarkey. That is a great one.
Now don't move the fucking camera.
That was so hard for me to keep my face straight. Oh my god.
I mean, you did it pretty well.
Yeah, okay. Hold
Don't
on.
move the camera. Do not move it.
No, I'm looking how much time is left on the recording for this, because it records in half-hour increments.
Oh, that was like 5 minutes.
If at all. But I'm just looking how long I have in order to change, essentially. Okay, here. Somebody hold on to the coat.
Taylor, get.
Yeah, this is 1A.
Alright.
Camera's rolling, right?
Yes, it's been rolling this whole time.
Okay.
All of our goofy actions and shenanigans have been on camera.
I mean, that's good.
Woo! Alright.
Sexy ass tail.
That look good?
Move a little closer. You're a little too far away. You're too obscured. Keep coming. I'll tell you when to stop. Right about there is good. All right. Cry Wolf scene 1A and action.
Okay, that's really good enough.
Yeah.
If I need any more, I can loop it.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, you're just gonna be masking yourself since the environment changes naturally and
Yeah.
weather moves things differently.
Either way, like, he sure looks freaky as hell, though.
Yeah. Especially,
Well,
with the
especially
amount
like just standing in the distance, they're not moving. Gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Movies.
Go ahead and hit the record button.
Stop the recording.
Yeah, stop.
Brands off, hats off. Brands off, masks off. He's gonna be dead. We're gonna find him.
just throw my hat over there.
We're gonna go find him. Do it in a way where you don't, like, if you're breathing, it's not noticeable.
Yeah.
That will kill
I've
the
played a dead
shot.
body before, don't worry.
You've been a dead body before. Is that what you said?
Yes. Played a dead body for a frickin' vampire flick my uncle did. Or a
Alright,
vampire
so
photo shoot, more accurately.
We're gonna come in.
Yeah, it's already
from-
recording, so
coming
just
from
see
there.
what you guys are gonna do.
So we're gonna come in from over there. We're gonna come over and notice that he's dead. And then we're both gonna get freaked out and then run different directions. I think, let's see, looking where the camera shot.
just achieve me from running off, like, from fuck this shit I'm out of.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so you're gonna run,
Wait, can I run that way? You run that way so I have a little more balance?
well, just looking at it,
Fuck, that's cramping.
the shot itself is pretty tight. Should I undo the digital zoom?
Oh, yeah, do that.
Where's the,
Front piece, front diopter.
that's in.
Pull it out.
Oh, no, that was out. There we go. Now it's more open.
Yeah.
So, the shot as of right now, we're going to come in from behind the tree that he's resting on.
Okay.
You could run past that tree,
That tree?
the one that he's not resting on right behind him.
Okay, yeah.
So run past that tree, and then I'm going to run this direction.
Okay.
right, so we got it.
And again, we're gonna try in order to keep this quick because it's a super cramped position for me.
Yeah.
And so I'm headed that direction?
Yeah, so past the tree right there behind Taylor.
Okay. Cool.
So you see the tree on the thing? That tree.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
All right, so let's go. All right. Dead Taylor shot. Take one. Action. Dude, I told you, it's just a legend. There's no way that could really happen.
Yeah, well, I'm not taking my chances, you know?
Wait.
Anyway, where did,
Oh, God.
Oh, shit. Oh,
Does
fuck
mean
that.
where I ain't gonna stay. And cut. I ain't gonna stay. I ain't gonna stay.
Alright, the zipper fell off on this, so this is gonna get interesting. Come on, pop, corner. Ah. There it goes. Okay.
One.
Alright, how do I look?
Got.
So you'll be standing right around there. Essentially, you'll just be having a shocked or something like that. And
Guys.
from there,
Guys, I feel like I've just, like, murdered this wolf the way I'm holding its head and, like, it's like...
yeah. And anyways, from there, essentially, we'll do that as a shot. Then standing in that same position, you'll repeat the same, like, shocked expression motion, but I'll be cutting to bring the camera in close. And then I will try my best in order to do back pedal for the zoom. You have to tap it, not hold it.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna get a shot of you guiding with the camera because that would look good.
Alright.
Okay. Alright.
And... action.
And
Cut.
cut. I hit the nose. Yes, you did. Okay, can you see me as well as Taylor, as well as not Taylor?
I can see you, but Taylor I can still see as well.
Yeah, if I
So-
duck down like this, though,
Yeah, I can still see you. Hold on. There. Try now. Try now. I got... Yeah, if you duck down to start, then...
Okay.
You can see the machete and everything too, the bloody machete.
I can't see the machete, no.
yeah,
but...
Okay,
lift the machete up.
Back up a little bit too.
Yeah.
And maybe angle the camera down just a tiny bit more.
Yeah, lift it up a little bit, but like...
There we go.
Like you're surprised you used it.
Yeah. Okay, I got the machete in there.
Okay,
Yeah, let me get the
Yeah,
mask
just
back on.
hold it right there. Hold it right there.
just call action when you're ready.
Okay, and let me make sure Taylor is out of this scene, and then...
1 sec. Okay, we good?
Yep. And action. I'd say maybe try that again. I see the whole machete now. Okay. And action. All right.
Sure.
And
you're ready.
action. And cut.
That's a wrap. We did it.
Alrighty, and that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you happen in order to enjoy, and if you've been watching this on the playlist, please come and check my channel out. I do other stuff like this as well. In fact, I've been running my own ARG called Last Impact for a while, but it's not the only content that I do. I do a bunch of other stuff relating to Sonic the Hedgehog lore, comic books, movies, television, all kinds of really fun stuff. Just essentially whatever I can grasp my head on in order to process and then re-bring that outward is what I like in order to do. So if you happen to enjoy this and you want to check out the rest of my content, then please go ahead and check out my channel. And if you enjoy that stuff or just this, then please make sure in order to subscribe, as it really helps me out. And of course, once again, huge thank you to Nick Nocturne for putting on the Candy Bowl every year and for allowing us in order to have this opportunity this year with the Monster Lab. So other than that, I think I'm pretty much wrapped up here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, this is Team 9291 signing out.